And tonight I am going to talk about the 7 things that your husband needs from you but won't ask for.
We're bringing sexy back. We're bringing sexy back.
Let's get it started. Harder, won't you give it up? What you want, body?
Hello, beautiful. Yes, I am talking to you. Welcome to Wife Life with Gail. And tonight I am going to talk about the 7 things that your husband needs from you but won't ask for. Again, thank you so much for joining me here on Wife Life with Gail. So do me a favor, if you have not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Make sure that you hit the subscribe button at below and tell all my one sexy wives that you are part of Wife Life with Gail. It is Thursday and I am so excited that you decided to join me tonight, and guess what? We're going to have some fun. I just this subject came to me and I was like, wow, the 7 things that your husband needs from you, but he won't ask. And I actually got this from my husband. Can you believe that? So let's join and jump in tonight about the 7 things. And again, I was kind of blown away. They're simple stuff I kind of took for granted. But he was like, I do this marriage checkup thing. Every so often, actually every 6 months, I do a marriage checkup. And I'll probably talk about that on one of the Wife Life Views. But I do a marriage checkup. And I said, Gil, what do you need from me? Right? And he's like, you really want to know? And I said, yes. So let's dive in. Number one, he just wants you to be happy. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I just want to know that you're happy. Is there anything that I could do to make you happy? And I said, well, Gail, why is it so important if I am happy? And he said, Gail, the reason why is because when you're happy, it makes me happy. He said, because as your husband, my job is to make sure that you're secure and you're happy. And, he used that adage, if mommy ain't happy, nobody's happy. And so the first thing is that your husband really wants you to be happy. He might not say it, but they want to make you happy. Even when things are not going well, they want us to be okay. And so that's the first thing. He wants you to be happy. Number two, he wants you to take interest in his interests. He wants you to take interest in his interests. And what do I mean by that? Well, I am an avid traveler. I love to travel and I love to shop, right? My husband is a football, basketball fanatic. And a couple of years ago, he's like, Gee, why don't you ever watch football with me? I'm like, well, I just never thought about it. But let me just tell you, I began to take interest in his favorite team. I began to figure out what basketball team that he loved. And whenever they were playing, I would go sit down beside him. I actually even bought a jersey and I bought him a jersey. So we watch it with our jerseys on. And, I got involved in it and I actually began to like it, right? And so that brings him joy when I sit down and I take interest in his football or his basketball. Now let's fast forward. I love to travel. So I began to, plan fabulous trips. He doesn't give me a hard time. He knows I love to shop when I go on vacation. So he engages in those things. And so it became a give and take thing, right? So take interest in what interests your husband. Even if you think it's stupid, even if you're like, I'm not doing that, just take some interest in it because it brings them joy to see that you enjoy what they enjoy, right? And it could be something so simple like exercising or running or whatever that is. Show some interest in him and what he's doing. Okay? And it could be something that you can't engage in, but just support him. Go watch, go support him. If there's something he needs for you to buy in order to enhance what he's doing, all it does is cost you a little bit of time, to be honest with you. So show some interest. Number 3, he wants you to take charge of being intimate. And intimacy has nothing to do with sex. And this was something that I was kind of like taken aback. Gil was like, I really want you to pursue me. Because when we're out in public, my husband will grab my hand, he will give me a kiss, he will run up and hug me, he will do all of those things. And he said, Gee, I need for you to do those too to me. I need to feel desired as well. I was like, Really? He's like, Yeah. And he said, and I also really would love for you to, initiate sex more. It's like, okay, I can do those things. Because again, I'm doing a marriage checkup. And these are the things that he said he needed from me that he had never expressed. And we've been married 32 years. And he said, these are some of the basic things that me and my boys talk about. So initiate intimacy. Go up and grab his hand. Go up and hug him from behind, whisper sweet nuts, and tell him how handsome he is. All of those things. You take the lead. And take my challenge, the 60-40. For the next 7 days, you take the lead when it comes to initiating intimacy and sex. Can you do that? Say yes. Yes, you can. You can do it. I believe in you. The next thing is he really, really wants you to acknowledge what he does right for the family and for you. And sometimes this is hard, especially if they're getting on your nerves and you're like, oh my God, what does he do right? Right? And this is something that I had struggled with years ago, like 12 years ago. In my practice, I can ask a woman, tell me what's going wrong in your marriage. And they can give me a list this long, including me. I used to be like, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he doesn't help with the kids, the house is a mess. I used to just go in. I could tell you all the things that Gil was doing wrong. But when somebody asked me what was he doing right, I'd be like, and in that moment, when somebody asked me that, when I was complaining to one of my mentors, she said, well, what does he do right? I was stumbling, right? I stumbled. In that moment, the Holy Spirit said, Gail, I need for you to focus in on what your husband does right, because he does a lot of things right. And that moment, I began the 30 days of gratitude challenge. And it started off just with a piece of paper. And every day for 30 days, God told me to find something that Gil did right. For the first day, I was like, took out the trash. The second day, washed a fork. The third day it was picked up his underwear. Went to work. All of those different things. But I made it through the 30 days. And that's what made me start the 30-day challenge. So do me a favor, go visit gailcrowder.com and download the free 30-day challenge, especially if you're struggling to figure out what your spouse is doing right. And what I did was I made a booklet. For 30 days, you just write something down. And after the 30 days, you gift it to him. And I gifted my husband that piece of paper. And that was the first time I ever seen his eyes well up. And he says, Gail, thank you so much. Because I always hear what I'm doing wrong. Thank you so much for telling me what I did right. It just touches my heart to this day. And I will tell you, I've had thousands of women to take the 30-day gratitude. And I've gotten so many positive feedback saying, Gail, thank you for creating this. So do me a favor, go to gailcrowder.com, download the 30-day challenge, take the challenge, be diligent at it. Even if you just have to say, thank you for waking up, right? If things are going so bad, find something to praise him about for 30 days. I'm telling you, it will change their life, right? Number 5, encourage him to hang out with his buddies. Encourage him to hang out with his buddies. You're like, Gail, I don't like any of his friends. They're not good. None of them is married. They run around with all the women and all those kind of things. Let me just tell you, you have power right here in this mouth. I have prayed some of Gil's friends away, and now Gil has amazing, godly, married friends in his life. It has not always been that way. But men need to be able to hang out with their boys, and you not calling 1,000 times trying to figure out where they are, what they're doing, what they're saying. You need not worry about it. You allow him to go hang out with his boys because you need to hang out with your girls. It is healthy for a marriage. It is healthy for your husband, and it's healthy for you to be able to do it. Now, it's nothing wrong texting, hey, babe, you know, I'm getting ready to do so and so. Are you eating dinner with them or something like that? But don't be this hound that every 5 minutes you call and telling about the kids and the car. Don't do that. Allow him to hang out with his friends because he needs this. And when he comes back home, he will be a better person. Men become very bitter and angry when you hound them and don't allow them to hang out with their boys, because I'm telling you, their friends like, yeah, he can't go nowhere since they got married to her. And that's the reason sometimes marriage gets such a bad rap. Because once they say I do to you, we just think that we own them and we should shut them out, right? And that's the worst thing we can do. The worst thing we can do. So if he's not hanging around godly married men, don't fuss with him. Pray them away, and God will do it. Number 6, he wants you to be confident in him and in yourself. And what do I mean by that? He wants you to be confident in him, that he can lead, that he can make good decisions, that you trust him, that you know that he is the head of the household. Well, Gail, his track record with money is horrible. He done cheated on me, and I just can't trust him. Well, there's a reason you're still with him. So you need to be the confident wife to put a period behind that. I'm not saying bury your head in the sand, but just know that everything that your husband needs, when you said I do, God deposited into you. You're more than enough. You're beautiful, you're smart, you're articulate, you have everything that your husband needs. So if he's weak with finances, you cover him. If he's weak with being able to stay on task, you cover him. And he should be doing that same thing for you. But he needs you to be confident. He doesn't need for you to be not confident in who you are, but he also needs to know that you support him. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But he really needs for you to be confident in him and his decision making. And if he's making bad decisions, that's not for you to fix. Give it to God. That's the reason why I am up every morning at 4 a.m., no matter where I am in the world, praying and interceding, not just for my marriage, but for your marriage. That God literally steps in and transform your husband, you, and your covenant. Because again, this thing did not come with a manual. We're going to make mistakes. He's going to make mistakes. But he needs to know that there's a glimmer of hope, that you really trust him and that you're confident that he's able to lead. And again, he's going to make mistakes. We make mistakes every single day. And yes, there have been some costly mistakes made. Yes, there has been some trust broken in marriages. Yes, Gil and I been through infidelity, financial, crush, all kind of different things. But I had to realize that just because I am a boss, that I cannot boss him. He's not my child. So I had to realize that every time I was talking about the bad decision and all the stuff that happened, that was just tearing him down. But I had decided I wanted to stay with him. And we were one flesh. So everything I was saying negative about him, I was saying about myself. So when I started working on myself and I started praying and saying, God, give me the words, give me the wisdom, not to tear him down, but to build him up and to allow him to make decisions, even when I don't agree with him, because he's the one going to have to answer to you, not me, because you put him on, as the head of our household. It's hard. I get it. But it will be so worth it in the end. And number 7, what your husband needs more than anything is respect. Even when you don't agree with him, even when he doesn't deserve it, even when you think he's not respecting me, Gail, respect. Every man needs to be respected in his household, respected as a man. And we have emasculated our men so much because we are women that make our own money, have our own thoughts, and all those kind of things. And I'm not saying become a doormat. I'm not saying not respect yourself or allow anybody to disrespect you. But what I'm saying is these are some of the core things that men need. And they need to know that you respect them enough to at least listen. And the number one reason why most men commit adultery has nothing to do with the sex. It has to do because that other woman creates a safe place for them to be respected and to be heard. I've been doing this 15 years. So my thing is learn to respect your spouse. It's okay to disagree, but you don't have to belittle them in order to disagree. So my prayer is these 7 things that every man needs from you but won't ask, that you begin to implement them into your marriage and into your relationship so you guys can be strong, be loving, be kind, and get everything that you want out of your marriage on a day-to-day basis. Again, I love you guys to pieces. Thank you so much for joining me here on Wife Life. I will see you next Thursday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And again, don't forget to go and download my free 30-day challenge of gratitude. Your spouse will just love you for it. I will love you for it. I will see you next Thursday. Having an amazing, amazing night.
We're bringing sexy back. We're bringing sexy back.
Let's get it started. Harder, won't you give it up? What you want, body?